All right, I am here in a very new spot in a very new country. I am currently in Makoko in Gabon. We are here to run about 180 kilometers of the Ivindo River. This river basically in the end boils down to 4 major rapids, starting off with the Kongu Falls. What makes this river so wild is that it's a very high volume river, but when it gets to the Whitewater, it splits across so many channels, like usually like a dozen at each one. And it's very jungled out on all the islands and the sides of the river. So when it comes to scouting and all that, it is really, really hard to do. And Olaf was actually here back in 2008 with the crew, and I believe another crew came after that. But the one challenge everyone always had was being able to scout different channels, because it's basically like a maze in there. And anybody that's gone to somewhere like the Nile and tried to run into something like hypoxia, Itunda, anything like that, it's always really blind. You want to know where you're going, and you never want to drop into a wrong channel. But this is a project that Adrian's been putting on for a few years, and the main premise of this project is now that we all have drones, we can finally get a good look at all the different channels, and from that decide what we think looks best at each of these rapids, which is a really exciting concept, because in the end, like I said, you can look at some drone stuff, but it's a maze once you're in there to bushwhack around and try to find your way to each of the channels and scout and all that. That could take days and days on end. But with the drone, we're going to be able to put it up, scout it out, and decide which channel we think we want to work our way towards and potentially run. So due to the fact that those last crews didn't have drones, they got to see some of the channels, but some of them that they ended up at weren't the ones that they wanted to run. So with the drone scouting, we have a lot of potential of firsties and new Whitewater to run. And in the end, it's going to be really, really exciting to see, not only just in general of getting to see the Whitewater, be out there, but to be able to drone scout and see all the different potential places to run. They're a really exciting concept. I'm really excited to check it out. And as everyone knows, I absolutely love flying drones. This is going to be like a dream trip for me. Last night, we finally made it to where we're putting on, but it's been a lot of travel to get here. We're going to have some breakfast, rally down there, and then do the main packing for the trip, get our boats all packed up, and then we're putting on. And this trip's really exciting for a couple different things, but one of the really cool things is that this is going to be the longest multi-day I've ever done in terms of an actual expedition. And we're going to have about 40 kilometers of flat water to get to Kongu Falls, which is the first rapid, first drop. So it's going to be really awesome being out there with the boys, with the crew. It's a really interesting project, and it's really exciting. And I can only imagine what it feels like for Adrian and these guys have been putting on for a few years. But now it's finally happening. Enjoy the last little downtime. And then next 10 days, we're going to be waking up on the river. And I know I'm going to have to learn how to restrain myself and not use all my battery for my drones on the first day. Pick a little bit of time each day, which is going to be very difficult for me, because I can only imagine the second the drone's in the air, I'm just going to lose my mind going to channel and be like, that looks sick, that looks sick. Breakfast, drive about 45 minutes to the put-in. Then we got to get our boats loaded up with a lot of stuff. Stoked.
You can be honest with your friends.
So this is the Ivindo. This is the channel we want. This is the other channel. Plenty of supplies. This Land Cruiser is epic, but it definitely had a lot more space for the 2 days in it. Luckily, we only have an hour left. Woo, we see the river. Made it. Finally time to unload, pack up, get this thing started. That way. Almost everything that's in here and everything's in there. It's going in there. Making progress. Bag in the front, extra throw bag in the front, throw bag, 3 dry bags there, dry bag there, daily dry bag, machete, all of that. Glad we're not doing a 10-mile hike in, because this boat's gonna be heavy. It sucks to forget the one thing we need to scout on this trip, not my dry bag. This is definitely the heaviest I've ever loaded a boat. Like, not even a question. 40 kilometers that way. Ivindo stakeout. Apparently, a lot of these channels cut off a lot of time. Or there's even one point where if we take the wrong channel, it adds an extra like 5 kilometers. So all about that European efficiency. I think this channel might have been a mistake. One of the biggest rivers we'll have done, and somehow we managed to find the dry channel. You can do it.
Found some phenomenal kayaking already.
One, we're pretty sure right around now is where there should be like a full labyrinth with like a maze of islands. So we're gonna wait for Adrian, who has the satellite photos, so we can decide which one's fastest. Get some sweet drone stuff.
Where is my 6-kilometer teaser, please?
We're looking for our first campsite. Made it just over 10 miles, but we had a late start. Only have about an hour of daylight left, so time to start looking for a campsite, set up our hammocks, get this thing going.
Oh, the next Colombo is coming.
Certain level of energy going through next person. Oh, it's just something. How do I do that?
I have no idea.
Home sweet home. All we've done is 10 miles of flat water and already had the most epic sunset campsite. Fantastic.
There you go, you still have one more earbuds.
First day done, bit of a late start, only got about 10 miles left. Now, time to get some sleep, get an early start tomorrow. Should take pretty much all day tomorrow to get to Kongu, but we're gonna wake up nice and early, give us the best chance of making it there tomorrow, because the chance how far away it is, we might not make it tomorrow even if we paddle all day in the flat water, but hopefully we'll make it there. Base out of there for a few days. Ready to really get this thing going.
It was warm, borderline warm, and then it for me was just borderline warm, like just okay, but
Nothing quite like the morning African fog. Love it. Should take about all day on the flat water today. Just make as much progress as we can. Oh yeah, it's probably just too shallow for them there.
exactly.
How long is that? Like, do you know when that's supposed to be?
After that. Okay, that's that pinch here, I believe. And then we stay close to the island, another pinch. And then we kind of come and goes more open again, and then we just
stay
that's
straight.
what I mean with the straight lining.
Okay.
Then we try to like stay here, big shore on the right, small islands on the left, straight, and then keep it going. And then that puts you here. We're on the left channel. Then it's close to shore. This is obvious.
Question is, will I be able to stay without a skirt for the next 5 minutes? Probably not. Unfortunately, first broken boat of the trip, and something tells me this how jagged some of these rocks are and how much weight we have in our boats, probably not going to be the last.
Don't you jinx it.
Big waterfall, the Congo will be downstream there soon.
Really? You hear a big rough fish. Dane, what do you hear? A lot of people talking. Well, 17 miles and 5 hours later, just over those islands, it's Kongu Falls. Definitely not as bad of a day as I thought it was going to be. I thought we had way longer to go, but always a happy surprise when it's not as much as you think. We threw the drone up, got some shots. It looks insane, even if we never ran it. Now we're going to head over, set up camp, buy beer for the next 2 to 3 days. Here's a bunch of slides. Over there is the stout drop. We're hoping at the very least to be able to do these slides, and then we're going to do a good scout on the big drop in the middle, and hopefully definitely going to be a stout pocket on the right because there's the way the two channels combine. But yeah, we're going to be basing out of here for at least 2 more days, so we got plenty of kayaking, plenty of scouting, and lots of good times.
Yeah, thanks, yeah.
We're seeing Concrete Falls for our first time. The reason why there's these platforms with fruits and this nice area to stay is that above Concrete Falls, a lot of fishing and things like that. And I guess they used to do some tourism trips here. You could come and spend the night, check out Concrete Falls and all that. So we'll definitely spend at least 2, maybe even 3 at this point, but at least 2 days here, running as many channels as we can, drone scouting, running them, trying to get back up, finding another channel. Hopefully some of the bigger stuff goes and we'll have a very interesting few days here. But although trying to find the right channel across this labyrinth is going to be very interesting. Overlooking the slides, not bad. Now we need some food. They prepared us a feast.
Thank you.
Because we were able to use the big boat to get to here, instead of only what we have in our boat, we were able to pack much fancier meals for these first few days.
You're ruining my hot tub.
After flying the drone for about 45 minutes, there are about, from where we're at on the river right, where there's technically river left, meaning where the channels end, it's like almost 2 kilometers. And there are like 30 different channels at least, maybe 40, maybe 50. I'm sure we missed a few in the jungle. But we got a lot of work to do to try to access some of it. There's definitely between 5 and 10 fun things to run. Unfortunately, a few of the places that have the main gradient loss land on rock. And then the really big one, the big stone in the middle, it's gonna be interesting to see if we want to run it and how gnarly that pocket is, a lot of power. Worst case, we're gonna get the fun slides. But regardless, it's gonna be a sick adventure and this place is epic. Looser and free without 100 pounds of gear in it. All right, after a fantastic morning on the platform, had breakfast, coffee, overlooking the slides. A week later from when I left home, even longer for Adrian and the other boys. Our plan right now is kind of start close to camp and throughout the next few days, just progressively work our way outward, just get as much done throughout all these channels as we can. With all the drone flying, a lot of it is unfortunately unrunnable, and the really big drop, we're gonna get eyes on it today, but does look like the pocket would be a little too savage to want to run, but we'll know a lot more once we see it in person. But the good news is at least 5 to 10 things that from the drone look like it'd be fun to do and runnable. Time to get this process started, and the first few are going to be nice and easy right next to camp. And then as we progressively move inward, it's going to get a lot more interesting with the jungle, bushwhacking and all that stuff, but what we came to do. Ready to go do some sliding and kayaking, let's go. Yeah, first booth in Gabon. But how are you gonna get there?
You'll see.
And I do think if you were to hit that secondary kicker, that'd probably still be fine. Like scrambling left. Ah, nice. Woo! Nice. That curler stopped us a lot more than I thought. That was fun. Woo! That was fun. Luckily it's not crazy slippery when your feet are in it, but on the kayak it's really nice and slick. Woo! Yeah, they're sliding down the grass, it'll be sick.
Yeah. You make a great point with the grass and the momentum.
Yeah.
But you don't end up on this island and just spin out or something.
Yeah! So we ran the 2 channels that we wanted to run right in front of camp. There's one more potential channel to run, but it doesn't look near as fun. So now we're gonna head over the island into the other channel, and hopefully there should be 1 or 2 bigger drops we can run there. Still big slides, but we've only seen on the drone, so keep checking them out, ticking off what's possible. Solid 2 little things to run right in front of camp. We can always go do a quick lap on that before dinner or something. Now time to go check out the others. Oh, nice little backbreaker. I have a feeling we're gonna be able to do the far left, but let's go see if this middle one goes. Because if you would have any left momentum, just smashing that rock at the bottom. Yeah. It also looks quite tricky to get into that channel smoothly. What'd you say? What did you say? I was saying I think the channel on the other side is gonna be good, because you'll be able to run it and get into this grassy area. The other option is a little more interesting. It's drive left on this channel and slide across the island into the other channel.
Oh God, no. Maybe on day 3, if none of the other channels go, we can come back to that idea.
Yeah.
I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to keep moving. Maybe get from that one and that one.
Well, the good news is this part is definitely good. That's just a lot of power pinching. I'd be worried about window shading. Such a big fold so early.
See that corner there on the left?
Yeah.
That's not a nice spot for your shoulder.
Where?
Like the grass, like
Yeah.
that's not the water's not next to it. It's like definitely like a shoulder thing.
I don't like how swallowed you get at the pinch. Still a lot of power landing on you.
Oh, a lot.
Putting yourself in a landing zone and then flying off onto another reconnect.
I feel okay about going for that right line, right kicker, and just fucking dealing with it. I don't need to.
I think I might actually do the main channel, driving left with left angle. Yeah, and just dry out a bit and then just know I'm trying to get left. You got it? Oh, and we scouted these channels, but they've got a lot of really weird flakes and some savage reconnects. There's a lot of potential to get on your edge or flip, break your shoulder, break your face, things like that. Once we finish this up, we're gonna go scout down there. Keep going one by one until we feel like we've gotten all we can do. Or like below this, or are we just looking?
I would look at that, and I would go back towards town.
Yeah. Yeah. No, thank you. Solid morning of kayaking. Got a couple fun slides. Got that one auto booth. Made it a few channels over. Then we decided to come back so we can have a meeting about the wildlife. Just make sure we know what we're doing in case we run into any. Now what we're going to do is going to head back in for a scout of Kongu, which is basically the mega scout, which is the biggest drop of this whole section of river that we're doing, or at least should be the tallest. What's funny is that obviously these slides are right here, but the waterfall that we're going to go scout this afternoon is like way up there. So it's like there's this center channel with massive high volume and it ends in a huge drop, but there's a side channel that comes into that same drop. They land really close together, which is part of the reason we'll see if we actually end up wanting to run it, because the pocket between them is like horrible. The good news is we can just go straight across, a little more left of the channel we went this morning. There should be a nice area that we can walk down and get a look from downstream to the main drop, and then kind of just make up our mind to whether or not any of us are feeling it from there. And then if anyone's feeling it, that'll be our process for tomorrow. If anyone's not, we'll write that off, and we'll keep working the channels left. Definitely a different way to do it, different than anything I've done before, but it's really fun. All right, we're back in the water, about to go scout the big dog. Even if we don't end up deciding it's good to run, I'm excited to see this in person. Obviously it looks epic on the drone, but a very interesting waterfall, the way the two pinch together. Never hurts to put your deck on your boat to hopefully deter any snakes from climbing in. So it turns out this is essentially grass, and it turns out we can actually eat it, or at least the leaves off of it. So, and it's very tasty.
I am so proud of you. Tastes
I know. See, I do eat some vegetables.
Oh yeah, that's well all right.
Yeah.
It's not bad, huh?
It's really nice.
Oh, wow. Yeah, once you're falling, it's more like 65. Holy shit, look at the size of those boils.
Oh my god.
It's so blind down there. The entrance is so rowdy.
That's incredibly loud.
What?
Good work finding an easy. Yeah, man.
Yeah, considering like we had like the most perfect view.
It's like a 4 minutes.
If only there was like an awkward left-leaning line down the left side.
Yeah.
But the left line, of course, has the most left-to-right kicker.
Yeah.
If only that waterfall would be one over.
Literally, one channel over. Like, why can't it be right there?
Because it would be sick.
It'd be rowdy as fuck.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. It would
But-
not, but it would be there.
I would say the line would definitely
It
be
would
there.
be there. It's wild how like, for me, like how the waterfall just like disappears in the seam.
I just cannot imagine how violent, because when we're looking down, you can see the boils, but I can't imagine how violent it actually is in those pockets.
No, I wouldn't want to either.
Obviously, there was that one pocket in the corner, but what are you supposed to do for someone in there? Like, tie 6 ropes to the tree and then, well, you'd have to hope the person's in a spot that you can grab the rope, and the wind. Like, I guarantee there's no visibility in there.
I don't know if you're gonna be able to breathe during
You
this
see
time.
the wisp for that boil coming up below, just like you guys are talking about. Most of it is sliding back upstream.
Yeah. I just cannot get over, the water is still popping up 60 feet down from the drop. Personally, definitely am out.
I'm out too, brother.
My biggest problem is you're not getting, I don't think at any point you're gonna get this, I'm enjoying this waterfall moment.
Not to base my decisions off the decisions of you three, but the day I run a waterfall that you guys don't would be a very interesting day.
It could be the last thing you do in your life. It also could not be the last thing.
Yeah, it's pretty much like you pop up left and you get to claim it, as terrifying it would be, or you pop up right and you don't survive. Here, it might even actually be over here. Yeah, it's gonna be over here. Paddle up, walk up, see what we can do here.
Slide.
We might even only be able to run this one, so that wouldn't make hiking up again hard. Go across, jungle gorge, back up and out to camp. Well, that is one of the wildest waterfalls, like gorges, like one of the craziest looking places I've ever seen. There's just so much power between both waterfalls pinching into that narrow gorge. And the original goal was hopefully to be able to run this channel that comes in on the side. But not only is it a really, really rowdy entrance, kind of a crazy lip, but if you were to go off essentially where you want to run the drop, you'd probably be about 50-50 whether or not you come out on the left side of the boil and be okay, or end up on the right side of the boil and end up in that pocket on the right that realistically you're never coming out of. Not really the kind of thing any of us are into. None of us are feeling it. A little sad because that's the biggest gradient, the biggest drop, and it does look like a really cool waterfall. If it was on its own or even like 100 feet further left, it would have been epic, but stoked to get to check this place out. It's I can't stop shooting drone footage of it because it's one of the most ridiculous and epic places I've seen. Yeah, that's it for here today. I head back to camp, run the slide by camp a few more times, and relax. boo.
Sunset lap.
Sunset, back to camp. That looked like a hit.
I normally go a bit further. Let's go again.
Okay.
One last lap.
That was fun. Well, that's enough kayaking for today. It's a really long trek back to the camp platform. That's the slide we were just doing. There's our campsite. In the end, I can't imagine coming here not having drones. Like trying to accomplish even all the whitewater we've already done without drones, and you also had higher water. Really?
Fucking monster. Wow. Oh my god. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Solid day. I'm having so much fun flying the drones here. Stoked to finally get some kayaking, get some slides. Nothing stout, nothing crazy. Bit of a bummer the big waterfall doesn't go, or at least none of us want to do it. And tomorrow we're going to try to tick off like 3 or 4 more channels, and tomorrow will be our last full day here. More than likely pick up a fresh one tomorrow. So, let's go. All right, day 4 on the Ivindo. Did I say Ivindo? Ivindo. All right, day 4 on the Ivindo. We checked off a few of these channels right next to camp, and now we're gonna head a little over a kilometer across to some of the farther left channels, basically the second to last of the far left channel. Furthest left channel is like a 30-footer that lands on rock everywhere. It doesn't look good, so we're gonna check out one closer from that. Should have a couple fun rapids, and then potentially one bigger one to do, and potentially like a nice 15-20 footer, maybe even a little taller. It's always hard to tell from the drone. Then from there, as we work our way back to camp, there's a few more channels we're gonna hike up and check out. So yeah, got there with a good start, and hopefully we're gonna check off some more dope whitewater today. But what's funny is that this whole place is like a maze, and you definitely don't want to end up in the wrong channels, especially because the middle one is that colossal high volume, massive drop with the 2 drops that come together with the death pocket. So yeah, today we mapped it out with the drone. So yeah, it's really important to end up going left of that into the channels that we actually want right now. I know where I'm going, and it's still like, woo. Main channel down the middle, boys.
But I would do almost all of them before that. Yeah.
I was in Victoria Falls or some shit before that.
Yeah, something with a chance. Our mate Jimmy. Our new mate Jimmy. The thing.
As in Jiminy Cricket?
Very good. Very good. I almost want to touch it to see what superpowers I would get.
A big ass. Just a giant. Kind of a weird pinch. It's still got the volume, but it looks fun. I think I'm gonna enter middle, trust the current's gonna throw me right a little, and just wait on the long lefty.
A nice transition out in the middle, you know? Like it's not a flat shelf the whole way.
But that rock there, I don't really like, because that's where you're carrying good speed. A lot of pin potential, awkwardness.
That whole pile, like, you have to somehow try and make that turn, which
But I think if you're upright on the rocks, I think it'd be fine.
Dude, it's so grippy when it isn't slippery though, you know? Like I think you can definitely be sideways and not having a great time up there.
I think this would go fine. I don't like how grabby these rocks are with how much power there is. A lot of potential to get gnarly pins into a decent hole.
I want to see that waterfall. I mean, maybe it's just good.
I mean, if it, Alright, so over there was that stout kind of reconnecting flume into that gnarly little pin spot that then went back into that big hole. Right here is that big U-bend with that massive dreamy kicker, but unfortunately there's too much power there. I think there's a really big hole. You go behind the falls, hard to line up the kicker. So now we've moved over one more channel where there's this nice little flume booth. Then right there is that jungle. It should be somewhere between 20 and 30 footer. We'll find out in a second. Huh. I just don't. The truth is, I do feel like you're probably going to go out in front of the boil no matter what. But I'm going to try to get a better look at the pocket. Let's play. I do think you're going to have an extremely bad time if you get locked off in the pocket at that corner, but I'm not sure that it actually goes behind it.
You know, on a boil, and it's like if you lost speed and you're on the boil, it's hard to know if you would come left or right off the boil instead of straight through with speed to your final destination.
It's like a locked-in spot. It's the only thing with how tall this boil is. That's what scares me.
Yeah,
in a perfect world, you would maybe clear the pocket and you'd still be right banked underneath this waterfall.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to skip out and come out where we are.
The pin.
We all really wanted to run that one, but with that hole at the lip, you would not carry the speed like you want to get out and away. You probably just back ender into that savage pocket. Even if you nailed it and did carry your speed, you would maybe just barely carry your speed past the bad part and be up against the wall.
Up on first inspection, looks relatively clean, and then now walking around it feels weird.
It's the worst. It's a whole lot of water. Oh, you see the fish jump? Definitely confirms you would never want to run the main channel. Although it gives you your best chance of going underneath the other waterfall and popping up on the other side.
My name's Dane Jackson and I'm going for the mystery move world record.
Yeah, I mean, for sure the right call with 12.5.
Yeah, holy shit. That's the way to move downstream, but we're not doing that yet. We're going across the Platte, and then we're going to try to see if we can run a few more of those channels. And then tomorrow we'll run whatever channels we think is best. And then we'll start making our way downstream to Mingoli. Woo! Well, I can pretty much tell you I don't think we're running that.
No.
We decided that the left entrance looks like a fun flume into like a booth. It looks open enough even if it's too big of a hole. This flume looks good. From here, we could always portage it, but I doubt we will. That goes into that gnarly, weird 15-footer with the hole. I doubt we'll run if it looks like a big hole on drone. This is janky but runnable. Should be like a flume and a booth. Nice long flume. And then this little janky slide here.
Is it worth us trying to scout now, or we do that tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Or later?
We have to
We already have to kayak down here tomorrow, so we might as well do that tomorrow. because we're gonna have to hike up to camp right now anyways. Oh, the snake, this would be a lovely place to live.
I always make fun of it, but keep making that sound, buddy. I'm
The
just
vibration
saying,
scared them away.
I'm just saying, if I was a badass venomous snake, I'd be like, what is that? Is that a dinner bell? It sounds like a dinner bell. What is that?
I think we go left here, dude.
Left, yeah. We'll take a quick look. So hot, holy shit. Paddle right to camp. We're about to leave camp tomorrow, so we're all going through the like 110 things of freeze-dried food. Kind of pick what we want.
No, like if we did it perfectly equal, it's fine. There's a lot of chicken formula side by side.
So basically, it was essentially all flat water from where we put on 3 days ago, whatever it was. So the wooden boat was able to get to here, and they brought a bunch of supplies. We were able to give them some rice and some food for the few days that we were camped out here. Adrian flew over with like 110 freeze-dried meals that we're splitting amongst us. Once we go downstream, right now we're aiming for 8 to 9 days on the water. It could end up being 7, but we want to plan just in case it takes a little longer, but we're expecting to be out on the 8th or 9th day. Another part is we've obviously been fortunate enough to sleep on this platform under the roof. Once we head into there, we're basically in the jungle, so time to get the like proper overnighter going. But what's funny is that I think my boat weighed about 130 pounds, maybe 120. It was already the heaviest my boat had ever been. Definitely about to be even heavier, but I guess if you just don't portage anything, you don't have to worry about the weight. That being said, you very much notice the weight when paddling. So yeah, tomorrow we're going to start off running these right channels on the right that we haven't done, and that's going to be interesting doing them with the loaded boat because you can really tell the weights there. Yeah, all good stuff. Enjoy the last bit of time here on the platform. We're going to wake up early tomorrow, finish off the rest of the distance. Unfortunately, a lot of the channels here at Kongu didn't go like we were hoping. Today I expected to be able to run at least 1 or 2 of those, but unfortunately they just didn't really work. They're gnarly, big holes, jagged rocks, just a lot of things that really didn't make it worth running. So fingers crossed that when we get to Mingoli, we'll have better luck down there. And then the 3rd one, and then the 4th one. Hopefully have more kayaking downstream, but yeah, excited to go up in there. We're also getting a briefing from the rancher on how to deal with wildlife as we go downstream. And considering that those guys go fishing pretty much most of the day, they come back with like 30 fish. I'm sure we're gonna have some form of delicious fish feast. The way they've been cooking the fish the last few days, it's insane. So good.
Comme ça, au moins, s'il reste avec nos garrots pendant... I think you gotta bow down. I think you gotta bow down.
Yeah, moving downstream in the water, we're going to be keeping our eyes open for a couple hippos. In theory, hopefully we shouldn't run into them at all, but apparently there's a few. And then when we're off the water and in the jungle, we have to keep our eyes open for obviously a lot of snakes. Apparently, I'm deaf, so I didn't hear the name, but I think it was a viper that had the world's longest fangs. Really fun to hear that. We also have to be on guard for gorillas and elephants. And apparently buffalo, which is pretty rare as well. So, yeah. Dick. I do now know what to do if an elephant or gorilla ever charges me, which is not information I ever thought I would need. Basically, extremely unlikely that we'll run into any of those problems, but the fact that we had to be briefed on it and now have that information is very interesting. Yeah, tomorrow we're heading into the jungle. Stoked. Alright, time has come to leave the platform. It's been such an epic place to camp for the last 3-4 days, however long we've been here. We put in our work to really try to get all the channels we could here. Unfortunately, not as many of them were as runnable as we thought, just due to whether gnarly pockets, gnarly rocks, or just other circumstances. Unfortunately, we didn't get to run as much as we would have liked in this whole area, but still an epic place to see and check out and experience. But this is the first of 4 rapids, so now we're packed up, got all our stuff in our boats. Once again, our boats are heavy, but gotta have all the stuff you need. We're gonna put in, and we're hoping to make it to the next rapid, which is called Mingoli. First, we're gonna do the last little channel that looks runnable on the right here, with a couple of fun little flumes. Been on the water for about 4 days, and as we go down, we're expecting to be on the water for somewhere up to about 9 days. Could be a little less, but it's always good to over prepare. We're gonna get one last rapid, move on. I'm excited to see what lies downstream. So, spent a little while this morning flooding my boat because I realized that last night, due to a little bit of the rain, the ants decided to use my boat as a shelter. So it's always fun waking up in the morning and realizing your boat's full of ants, but kind of all part of it out here. Get going. Get to improve. For a split second, it almost looks like you could drive right and try to get a boom. That is a savage hole. Definitely a body recirc hole. Bit of a pocket on the left, but the biggest problem is there's nowhere to set safety to throw a rope. Sadly, that one does not go. Yep. What we came for, boys. Whitewater mode engaged. Wow. Brent's going shirtless. I give it 15 minutes.
No, just take my elbow pads off. Deactivate whitewater mode.
A little over 4 hours in. Hopefully not too much farther. 5 hours later, made it to camp. Gonna enjoy the last bit of sunshine. Not actually sunshine, enjoy the last little bit of daylight. That's the word I was looking for. That's what happens when you paddle in flat water for 5 hours straight. It was hot today. Fortunately, we did not end up making it all the way to Mingoli, which is fine because we know that we're within a reasonably close distance, so we're gonna get to see it at some point in the morning tomorrow. Blow the drone up and find out if the main channel goes or if we're gonna run the side channel that Olaf did last time. All good stuff. Have myself a fantastic setup back there, and stoked to actually get the part where we're sleeping in or around the jungle for the next week going. The platform is great, but This is a lot of fun. Ready to see what downstream has in store. Stoked. After my boat practically being an anthill this morning, I decided I wasn't taking any chances today. Alright, back on the water. Nice little morning, a great little campsite. Turns out we still got a few miles to get to Mingoli, but still a fantastic place to camp. And now we're gonna boost our way down and looking forward to seeing this one on the drone, because good news is there were no new ants in my boat, but it turns out a lot of the ants from yesterday took shelter in the cockpit rim when I was flooding. So there's still quite a few ants in my boat, but nothing new. But although this morning I did notice that they were basically building a new ant colony at the corner of my hammock, so that was a fun thing to wake up to. But luckily not many made it into the hammock itself, so all good stuff, all stuff you have to deal with, nothing crazy. And yeah, ready to go do a little bit of whitewater. Should have a nice little fun rapid to start off with, and then hopefully not too much longer than Mingoli. Love seeing myself a little bit of spray. That's good.
Yeah, it's fine. It'll be fun.
Tomahawk.
I was just gonna say, be a hero, tomahawk into it.
Like a nice piece.
Right over the hump, huh?
Well, we made it to Mingoli. This is not Mingoli itself, but the entrance rapid to the main channel that has the two big drops. We're going to start off with these two, reset, do the third one. Then after the third one, at the corner, the river splits. The left channel has the two big drops that has the main flow. At least on the drone, they have some huge holes, but there might be some lines. Worst case, if we get down there and we decide not to do the main channel, there's a really small channel that goes off to the right and around and off some slides and drops. Hard to say if those are runnable, but it's a lower volume option if we don't like the left channels. Yeah, step one, run these big rapids, get to the bottom, make a plan from there. I think they're going to be hitting the meat of that pretty easily. This, like you'd have to do one of those where you swing and barely miss this hole to get into the middle.
Exactly. I think if I do it, wow, fuck. Even this is fucking tricky.
Like, hard to say if we want to do it, considering it's at the lip. We're not at the lip, but pretty much goes straight into that first huge slide with a hole.
Next horizon line, really close.
Really close.
Right.
You can kiss your kayak and your equipment goodbye.
That's like,
That's tough, and I really want it because it's a nice piece of big whitewater.
Yeah,
and all we've done is run shallow stuff and portages.
Dane, did you go to the pocket?
Yes.
Would you have to come up the front and get tumbled to come out, or would you be able to back out of it?
You'd have to have paddling out of it.
Okay.
Often could come down to not to whether or not the line is there, but simply location, meaning that this rapid is literally at the right before a massive slide into a huge hole. But the whitewater itself looks like something we could do. But on top of that, we have to think about the fact that we're in an incredibly remote spot, so it's not like you just hike out to the road. We're out in the middle of nowhere. So if something happened, your skirt blew, you swam, maybe your boat gets pushed into the right side, but if it goes off that next drop, everything in your boat, your paddle, everything is just gone, and you're just out here. So that's a huge factor when it comes to deciding to run something like this.
as the team is happy, I would like to go for it. If the team is not happy, then no big deal. I'm still on the fence. For me, it really just comes down to the double location, the location above the slide and the location of remoteness. Yeah, totally. Because I'm thinking about paddling diving boat across to the point. I could fly drone from there, but also have a throw bag. That way I'm a last ditch effort to throw a bag before there. I think with an empty boat I feel a lot better about it, but I just really hate the location. Sometimes when it comes to a stout like this, it's worth emptying the kayak, lighten up if you want to stay high and floaty over that curler. Brent and Adrian are going first. Brent's going first, then Adrian. Show those guys to make it look great. A little bit on the fence. I usually like to 100% make up my mind before people go. It can be a bad idea to change your mind after somebody runs something, because just because they made it look good, maybe they get a lucky surge and it won't go as good for you. So I generally like to have my mind made up before anybody goes. But in this case, I 100% tee the line. And yeah, I'm gonna film these guys, make up my final call, but in the end, for now, I'm gonna set some safety. Those guys are gonna crush it. Okay, through the first part. Yeah! Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's the spot. Oh! Woo! All right, got the happy thruster. That's fun. Nice little stout.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's good to see.
Went exactly as I wanted until the last second where I went. It punched through the last curler. I was leaning and I slipped off my paddle. I was practically upright and then just rolled over.
That's not okay. I'm gonna listen there.
Well, I'm glad we lightened up our boats for that rapid. Now it's time to pack it all up. The main channels, first one, just too big of a hole, and the line down the right is super janky and gnarly. Then around the corner, the second big drop with two big holes, and both just look massive. So we're gonna take this alternative small right channel. At the very least, looks like some potential to be able to paddle over there. Like you wouldn't be able to roll against that wall.
I think the easiest is to see on top here and run the bottom line.
Keep wrapped. Whoa! Back into the sunshine we go. That hole is massive. Ugh. That on its own? Possibly. That with that? Nah. Might be a little thick. Looks like a good spot, eh? Home sweet home. Yeah, it started to rain, so took down the hammock, gonna wait out the rain. Probably have to set up a tarp tonight, but no point in getting it wet right now. We're gonna wait it out. Fantastic campsite though.
Like bad haircut, wet hair. But also whitewater swimming.
Well, it was a fantastic day. It was nice to get the nerves up a little and run something that was a little bigger, a little bit more of a challenge, bigger features. Then it was wild to just make a turn right and go into super low volume stuff. It's a wild place. Another fantastic day. We have ourselves an epic campsite. We're gonna be able to sleep in a little tomorrow because we've got a point we can meet up with the cars. There's actually a part where the road comes in by the river. It's gonna be kind of a reset spot where we restock up on food, spend the night there, things like that. So we can sleep in tomorrow. We have about 10K of flat water to get down to there. More good stuff to come. Last night was one of the sickest rainstorms I've been in a long time. It was like full, like even for me, the thunder was loud, the lightning was lighting up the whole place, raining super hard. It was a very cool rainstorm. Unfortunately, I did not do a very good job of setting myself up for success when it came to the tarp. I unfortunately thought that we probably had the only rain of the day earlier in the day when we were hanging out in the water. Very mistaken. Luckily, somehow, even though I didn't hear any rain or anything, I woke up at 11:30. I started seeing some lightning in the distance. I was like, I'll go ahead and set up my tarp. But I had set up a line for the mosquito net horizontally, which was not a good idea. If you want to go lengthwise, so that way you can actually lay the tarp over it. Did not have that foresight at the time. So, as I was setting up the tarp, I just went ahead and set it up in a decent way as I could. I couldn't go, you know, nice and teepee over top of it, make it angled down. I just went, but I had the horizontal rope to stop the water from sagging in the middle. So, at the very least, that was a win. But then once it actually started raining, I was doing pretty good. I was like, oh, I think I'm gonna make it, it's gonna be fine. But then the wind got super, super strong. It was holding the tarp up like pretty hard, pretty far above my head. And the rain started flying in. I was like, oh, I'll just hop out real quick and tie down one end of the tarp, which was a colossal mistake because as soon as I did that, I got out, the wind started soaking me. I got soaked, but I think when I untied the one side of the tarp to lower it down, I think all the water that was on the tarp went straight into my hammock, because when I went to look back at my hammock again, there was a huge pool of water at the bottom of my hammock. Sleeping pad was soaked, phone, AirPods was in the bottom of the puddle, and I was also soaked. And I was like, that's not good. So I tied the hammock back up the way it was because I realized I couldn't actually tie it angled down. And then luckily I had this set of clothes in the dry bag next to me, threw this on, pretty much committed to sleeping on the wet pad all night. But luckily it's not that cold at night, so it's still good. Still got an hour or two of sleep, but yeah, I think in the future I will definitely keep in mind that if it does rain, don't set yourself up for failure with the horizontal mosquito net line. But no, it's still great. The dope thunderstorm. Luckily I'm not that wet. I'm sure I'll dry off soon enough. It's morning now, so I'll have some coffee that'll warm me up. And yeah, despite all the flooding, besides getting soaked, still a dope rainstorm. Onward. 10K of flat water. We're gonna go check out this tree because apparently it has a pretty epic history to it. If my details are accurate, which they often aren't because I'm deaf and miss a lot of detail. But I think he was saying that that tree should have like a little plate, a little plaque or something. First guy that was exploring it, something like that. Like I said, I often mishear things. We're gonna paddle over there, check it out, and maybe see something cool. Either way, it's a pretty dope tree. That's crazy. It says if you're reading this, turn back now. Well, we can see the plaque. Can't read it, but we should have brought our own plaque that says send on it.
Back here, like someone's name.
Pretty sick. Not much to read after 150 years of abuse. You obviously can't really see on the GoPro, but up where that red dirt is, a couple elephants. Supposed to be tons of wild elephants in this area. And unfortunately, we haven't gotten to see any yet. Finally,
got to see some. Looks like they're trying to trek over that hill. It's pretty sick. Honestly, I mean, I feel like it was only a few weeks ago. I think I just watched like Another Planet Earth or something like that. I think Our Planet. Anything with David Attenborough, obviously, it's going to be awesome. Elephants will continue to blow my mind as the type of terrain they're actually able to handle. So it's fun to get to see some elephants, and yeah, I'm going to crush the last bit of flat water for today and hopefully get to camp soon.
Yeah, so the road is broken 15 to 20 kilometers away from here. They're right now in the village there, trying to figure out how to get here.
We've been house hunting and we found one. Home sweet home. Waterfront property. Even got a beach. Paradise. Pretty sweet open jungle. Walk right out. Oh yeah.
This is not enough for a third meal, but we have another. You should.
Rain from like 4 to 6, something like that. Ended up setting up the tarp the right way this time, and yeah, it's substantially nicer when you set it up properly and don't get flooded. And yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see how long this lasts. But luckily we're all cozied up in our hammocks, and yeah, now we'll just wait it out. And then once it's all done, we can have some food. But nothing like chilling in the rainstorm. I love it. The good news is of all the day to have a rainy start, today's a good one because we are we're like a couple hundred meters upstream of where like pretty much the only road that accesses the Ivindo in the section that we're doing. There's a road that I guess used to be a cable across or something, and they were going to try to bring us some supplies, but unfortunately the road apparently is out. They were supposed to be there yesterday, but with the road being out, they had to like rebuild the road, and they were hoping to be there this morning. Adrian's got the sat phone, so we'll see if that actually ends up happening, considering the fact it's been raining a lot, which would certainly make it that much harder for them to get down to the water. But the good news is that we're basically right above where they would come meet us, so we'll probably end up chilling here for most of the day, maybe even under the tarp if it keeps raining, and then fingers crossed that they're able to get there with the car, or worst case a bike, and give us some supplies and food and stuff. But yeah, all good stuff. We have ourselves like an island survivor situation. We have one group over there with that fire, and another group over here with this fire. Question is, how long till they break and join our group? I figure there's no point in making the only place to avoid the sun by going into the jungle, so get a chill zone. Feels fantastic.
You have pairs 4.
All right, rest day is done. Now we can finally finish this thing off. We're gonna spend one more night here at, which I think is one of the best campsites we've been to. Wake up nice and early tomorrow, and then keep pushing towards the next drop, which I believe is called Quantamongo, but I would not take my word for that. I'm sure by the time I actually get there, I will hopefully know the name properly, or at the very least how to say it properly. Tomorrow there's a chance that it could rain all day. The InReach is saying there should be some rain for most of the day. Fingers crossed that's not actually the case, because we need to drone scout if we make it to the third rapid tomorrow, which we should be like 2.5 hours of flat water to get there. Where we're at right now should be perfectly in between Minguli and the next one. So yeah, 2 rapids down, 2 to go. Tomorrow we're gonna see the third one, and yeah, guess we'll find out tomorrow. Stoked. Even though we've only done 2 of the 4 rapids, in theory, coming into the tail end, we have probably 3 to 4 days, and obviously we're prepared for any more, but should be about 3 or 4 more days on the water. Right now, we're about halfway in between Minguli and Quantamongo, which is the next rapid. So we should have about a 2.5 flat water paddle, hopefully, and then we'll get to the third rapid, which, from what Olaf is saying, has the potential for some big slides. But yeah, guess we'll just find out when we get there. But it's been pretty sick. This campsite was all time, literally epic beachfront, and then what looks like an ultra thick jungle. You walk like 10 feet in, and it's like fully open, like perfect hammock set up. It was, yeah, definitely my favorite campsite of the trip. supposed to rain a bit today. Hopefully not too much because drone scouting is essential when it comes to this whitewaters. Now we're just finishing up breakfast, packing up, onward. Here we go, on to number 3. We're a little over an hour in and there's a big split in the river. So instead of dropping in, we're just gonna throw up one of the drones. Better safe than sorry, because we're pretty sure for Quantamongo we need to be on the left side and it sucked the bomb into the right and realized we're there. So
But maybe there's a right channel or something?
I mean, that looks a lot worse than the stuff we portage on Kongu.
Yeah.
Come on.
Look at all the bounces and that rock halfway, and then it lands on rock, and then there's rock at the landing. Right now, that one under the jungle looks pretty reasonable, but okay.
Be clean at the bottom.
Be clean at the bottom.
Alrighty.
That's pretty good.
That one looks
Super.
super potential.
that
It looks
looks
like
good.
still bouncy, but has a lot of potential.
That looks good. Like in terms of potential, looks
Yeah.
good. That could be a big hole, but
Yeah, I mean, it blows out on the right.
we'll find out.
All right, after drone scouting, we have confirmed we were at Quantamongo. There are a lot more channels than I thought they were going to be here. I don't know why I'm surprised, but it's about 7 or 8 channels, mostly low volume, all kind of spread out. But the furthest left looked like they had the best potential to be runnable. 2 slides back to back, and there's one little narrow jungle slide next to it that could also be good. So we're going to start there. Then, if those go good, we'll kind of work our way across from below and see if there's any more that has potential. A few of them look pretty gnarly. Could be 1 or 2 more worth scouting, but at the very least, fingers crossed we get to these left slides and they look super fun. Wow. Okay. Just so hard. There's so many bounces that you just don't see. Thinking middle, like the dry island, right of it,
Yeah.
moving left,
And then trying to go
and then
between
trying to
those
go in
two
between those two.
I do think that channel one over the was also interesting.
Enter.
Yeah,
I
you
think
go
you could
in
either,
between.
I was originally thinking moving left of the right channel, trying to thread the needle, but that puts you dead middle of the pocket. So I actually do like the idea of trying to thread the needle between the far left big kickers. You get a bigger first bounce, but then you're in a better place for the bottom. Right? That does look pretty good from here. Even if you kind of hit that first kicker, it puts you in a nice spot for the bottom. Whereas that one could do some weirder turning things.
100% now.
Probably go all the way left, driving right slightly, and just take the water boost. Because even though I'm pointing slightly right, I don't like the idea of trying to do something weird there, leading into one of the bigger, flatter kickers.
Talking about the kicker
Yeah.
with the grass.
And it does look like once you're committed to the slide and you can avoid the biggest kickers, you'll be able to ride it out, take the hit. But there's no really good option to be not doing any weird turning or bouncing before you get to the main part of the slide. All the entrances are kind of weird. The 3 of us are super fired up on the idea of running it, but the entrance, everywhere you go, has something weird that could happen before you go into like the real stuff, which is all those kickers. And the window you're trying to get in is big, but you're doing a lot of weird things at the lip that make it really hard to determine whether or not you're going to be able to get to where you want to be. I think in the end, if you just boil it down to one simple thing, enter where you can and just keep it straight. I think everybody's going to have something different happen, but I think with that premise, I think it'll all be good. Caleb on the rope, diving with his boat. There's a knockout. Adrian's going first. I'll probably go second, Brent will go third. Everybody's got their own idea what to do at the top, but in the end, the base of the drop is simple. Just find the best entrance you can, deal with it. Main goal is just keep it straight the whole time. Yeah! Oh, fuck yeah! Woo! Adrian was able to carry his feet across the island better than we all expected. I think the left line that I wanted to do would work too, but him being able to carry that speed, still gonna play it safe and really commit to it, but he made it look good. That's my turn. Way to make the line look good, bud. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah! Woo! Fuck yeah, bud. We got to run something.
I got peeled back at the bottom.
Did you?
Did you guys
I saw the paddle do the classic, like, wrapped around the boat.
Yeah, but for me it was like this, and then I drove it like that.
Okay.
The water like, I don't know.
So I got peeled back, and I was like, okay, let go with one hand. Yeah, I was wondering what happened to your paddle.
That hit that bottom wall pretty hard, huh?
Yeah, but you wouldn't be moving that fast. Like, if it was more clear, you're not going to hit your shoulder, I'd be like, hell yeah. So close to being another sick sequence. But that little narrow point right there, the gnarly point that almost covers all the flow, and it's right where the main meltdown of the curler is. There's a very solid chance you would back-ender, flip, pin, do something weird. Yeah, that little point, you don't have enough control to be feeling good about making it over without something weird happening.
With my bow facing a little right.
Yeah.
So I'm moving right into the second one.
The fun rapid. Oh, we might as well try a different line. Felt really nice to get to a full sequence and be able to run the entirety of the sequence. First one, 70 to 80 foot, almost vertical slide, rowdy entrance, ended up going super good. Fun little step down boof and then a fun little flume boof. All good stuff. Whoa! Well, at the very least, we'll get the bottom slide. Curious what's around the corner.
How bad is the hole going to be?
So far, it looks good.
I don't know why there isn't a big hole, but I'm not complaining.
So far, it hasn't been a single hole. Yeah. Except for the bottom. I think as long as you're anything in the middle, you're fine. Even if you went into that flow on the left, you'd be fine. At the very least, we're going to be able to do this one.
Yeah, and then the bottom
and then the main part. This is going to be fantastic.
It'll be alright.
But you have a lot. I think you're going to want to actively be driving right. Like main flow, boof into the slow water, take the curler right. From the top.
Oh,
woo!
I like that.
But long, low angle slide. Another nice slide into this sick flume. And a big hole at the bottom where you can boof it on the right. It's so slippery.
Maybe a big jump. Get in the thing.
Whoa!
Hey, Jackson.
Oh, what a sick sequence! Really not that intimidating. There's a lot of different moves. And that was a very joyful few slides and one boof. Yeah, I enjoyed that. Such a sick sequence, might as well do it twice. Good line. Happy with those 2 laps? Yeah. Okay. Well, that's it for today. Today was sick. This sequence is epic. That like stout but 6, 70, 80 foot almost vertical slide was sweet. Today was awesome. Guatemalgo definitely delivered. 3 out of 4 done. Sick campsite right around the corner, just downstream. Spend the night. Crushed for like 25K of flat to the 4th and final one. All of our expectations were high for Kongu to be the one that had all the stuff to run. But unfortunately we weren't able to run much of Kongu. So to get to Guatemalgo after having to Portage Manguli, very nice surprise to be able to run these 2 bigger parts of it. That was a dope day. As if the day couldn't get any better, this is our campsite. There is the fantastic sequence. Here's home. Here's the fire.
It's a real nice place to park my trailer.
Ain't no room for my trailer here. We're gonna need 8x4. Well, that was a fantastic day. Got this sick sequence, got that like 70, 80 foot almost vertical slide, got a couple of fun boosts. Flat water this morning was not near as long as we expected, so a lot of pleasant surprises today. 3 out of 4 are done. Found ourselves a fantastic campsite right below the best sequence, so that's always going to be a bonus in the morning. It's going to be sick being here with the sunrise. Only 1 rapid left. Tomorrow will probably take most of the day to get to. I think it's about 25K, so most of the day tomorrow will be getting to number 4. Probably spend the night somewhere, and then the following day finish off number 4, and then more than likely take out just after the 4th rapid. I don't know the name yet, but that's right at the confluence of the Ivindo and the Ogri, so we'll take out there. Still don't think I'm saying that very well, but we'll likely take out there instead of doing the original planned 38K of flat water out, just because it seems like there's probably not going to be whitewater in there from what Olaf said, and by that point we're all going to be pretty beat because that's day 11. So fingers crossed. Number 4 looks fantastic as well, but just getting this stuff today made it so much better. All good stuff. So to see what tomorrow brings.
Smile. They're happy.
Yeah.
It's like the campsites keep getting better and better. Last night started off a little warm, but then had a fantastic night's sleep. Anytime you get to camp at the base of a sick rapid, that's always dope. Enjoying one of our last mornings. In theory, tomorrow should be our last day on the water. As always, things can change, but that's the plan at the moment. I thought it was going to be about 25K of flat water. Turns out it'd be closer to about 37 after Adrian pulled it up on the map. So long day of flat water ahead. Probably somewhere between 7 to 9 hours, depending on if we go for the whole thing. Worst case, we make it most of the way, sleep, and then finish it off tomorrow. But I think no matter what, tomorrow we're going to see the 4th and final rapid. Yeah, fingers crossed the 4th rapid had something sick on it, but either way, yesterday really gave us a couple true gems. That both channels were coming to an end, 10th day. Been a great trip. About 5 minutes into the flat water, see a buffalo on the side. We can zoom in really far on my GoPro. A little bit of downtime waiting for the rest of the group to catch up and get to see some wildlife. All right, about 3 hours in, maybe a little more. Made it to a pretty nice looking rapid. So this is not the 4th rapid. This is just a nice pleasant surprise, a nice big rapid. Nice big wave at the top into a big exploding curler. It's gonna be sick. Rejected. You have a nice big water rapid that's easy to lap, why not do it a few times? That's more whitewater than the first 8 days combined. Tonight's our last night in the jungle. So we're trying to find the best campsite possible. We're house hunting. So far this island with the beach and little cove and whitewater looks promising. Last night in the jungle. What better way to spend it than on an island with the beach? Very sad it's the last time I get to use my Rambo machete, but I don't know if I'm going to be more sad or if David's going to be more sad.
I'm gonna use it in next one.
Oh yeah.
Dude, the water is so much nicer now the tributary comes in. You feel that?
Oh, I'm sorry, but
Damn right you are.
oh, that's why
nay.
it's fucking ripped.
Careful, careful, put it down. Put it down. Leave it right there.
Step back. Ah, fantastic.
Lovely.
Lovely.
Lovely. Honestly, I can just feel when it's ready.
Last night out here, seems like every campsite just kept getting better, and this one is pretty epic, pretty sick spot to finish it off. Obviously we still have all the kayaking tomorrow, but it's only about 10, 12, 15K, whatever it is, so we're actually at the bottom where we're actually going to be taking out at the confluence of the Ivindo and the Gui. Yeah, today was a very pleasant surprise. It feels like today alone we had almost like more just good fun whitewater than like the first week combined. So it was like really nice surprise today to get like a couple fun little boops. We're like, okay, that was nice. Then a couple flowy rapids. Then we got that one like super chill but fun big rapid. And then a couple more fun wave trains. It was like, all right, we got some good whitewater today. So today was a very nice surprise. Tomorrow to get to see the fourth and final rapid. I will hopefully at some point between tonight and tomorrow learn how to actually say the name of it. I need to see it written down. One, because I don't speak French. And two, I need to see it written down because when I'm deaf, I really hard to hear foreign words and picture it in my mind. So yeah, go with rapid number 4 for now. Yeah, got about 2 hours of flat water in the morning. One last big rapid, and we're finishing this thing off. Just finished day 10, 11 days on the water, all good stuff. One last day to go. Stoked. All right, last morning out here, just finished up breakfast, had a nice long morning on the beach. Seemed like every campsite every day was just getting better and better because this one was sick. The perfect campsite to finish it off. Still have about, I think somewhere between 10 and 15K left of river, maybe a little more. And one final rapid. There's obviously gonna be little rapids, but there's 4 main ones. We've done 3 of them. 4th one to go. The 4th one is pretty much right at the confluence where we're gonna be taking out. So yeah, we'll crush some flat water this morning, then we should be there. And yeah, hopefully from what we've seen on photos, I guess kind of wide, big water. Doesn't look like the steepest of all of them, but we'll see when we get there whether or not there's any channels that look good. Looking forward to seeing what's downstream. And we're off. Nice cloudy day. Sun shouldn't be too crazy for now. See what we got. Where are we looking for the takeout? Right there?
Singalididi.
Like right in that area?
Singalididi.
Quindigilligilli?
Repeat after me.
Quindigilligilli.
Singalididi.
Ah, yeah, but it's
Can you type it for me? When you get a chance, pass it to the Frenchman so he can type it out for me so I can stop saying the word.
Singalididi.
Send illegally. Send illegally.
Send illegally.
It's the noise you make when you touch an electric fence.
I was pretty proud of Fuck the Mongo, and then it just kept getting harder. Kongru, Minguli, got those dialed.
Yep.
Fuck the Mongo, I was like, okay, getting a little better. And of course the last one's the hardest. Senge le lady.
You can pronounce the T.
What?
I heard to pronounce the T like Senge.
Senge
Lility.
Senge Lilidi.
Yeah.
Senge Lilidi. Number 4, Senge Lilidi. Really wish I had written it down and showed it to me for any of the 8-hour flatwater days. Flashcards. Anyways, we are at rapid number 4, Senge Lilidi. I think that's about as good as I'm going to be able to pronounce it. I apologize to all the French people out there, or anybody that speaks French is more what I should say, particularly the Gabon people. Yeah, we made it. Even I can hear it. Excited to see what this one has in store. Time to finish this thing off. How are we looking? No? Holy shiza! I never doubted you. Is it huge? Holy shit!
I really this was the easy one.
Me too!
We were told it was the chill, easy big water rapid, but then Olaf also told me 20-meter slide. That's both over there actually. It's
There's
big
no,
water,
there was no way you
slide.
would swim out of that hole, eh?
Not quickly. I could, yeah. Caleb makes a good point though. Just because that hole is massive doesn't mean that hole is small.
Ah.
And I quote, chill less rapid.
Honestly, I think.
I haven't even had time to go from flat water mode to whitewater mode, and I think I'm out.
But this is your first team.
Yeah, buddy, we sent this one for you. You get to go first this time.
Dude. I mean, there is, but why?
Nah, you don't need to put yourself in any chance of going into that hole. That is fucking.
Oh man. This one's for you, David.
I'm not gonna.
No, of course.
Anyways, I think that left side looks also really shit.
Really what?
That one goes onto a rock. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
I
that channel right here.
I told Dane that, and he was like, "Southeast, baby."
You don't think it's worth going to the island and take a quick look?
Maybe we can, but I flew the drone to that eddy, and it literally goes 10 feet onto a rock, falls out, and then lands in the water. In this case.
Huh.
So I think our line is hard right, dry.
I'm finding a way to run to the top. I'll find a steel launch.
I'll find the sea launch somewhere.
That hole is absolutely colossal, massive, and all of these channels are very lengthy. So sadly, Ford's Rapids does not go. Luckily, there's a nice little rapid for the run out, which I say little, it still has some big holes, but that hole is massive.
Yeah.
Well, you're definitely not making it around that one. But in a perfect world, what you could do, drive left into this eddy, ferry in front of this rock, run the right side of that hole, and then keep moving left, because I think from there you're fine.
Yeah.
But the other option is to go below this rock, cut through the eddy and ferry, but if you get sent right, there's a few more holes. About to get our last bit of whitewater on the Ivindo. Unfortunately, the main line out for the run out of the rapid, this looks like one really huge hole that would be really, really hard to avoid. Loaded boat, big boils, it looks like a hard hole to swim out of or surf out of. So we're doing the conservative right line, which isn't what we wanted to do, but there's nothing. Go for it. That view is insane. Good times, boys. I know. That's what, bud. Back to reality. Not as much as we wanted, but more than we expected.
Exactly.
That's what, bud. Would have been quite spicy.
That's kind of what I was.
Hey, bud. Great trip, bud. Too much sauce.
Too much sauce. And I was like, those guys are scouting just to fucking talk. Like, this is not a runnable rapid.
The adventure is over. 11 days on the Ivindo. Now we're gonna head over to the confluence of Goyi.
Dog, the adventure's not over. We're going clubbing in Libreville. We don't know where the car is.
Okay. A difficult Tuesday in Rosenheim.
Da sind so ein paar zerfallene Häuser und ein Boot, was über den Fluss geht.
See you at Boyo in 38 kilometers.
1.5 to 2 hours. They're gonna drive now to there.
To there? Not to the confluence.
Not to
Where are they right now?
Oh, yeah. No. I like this.
Left, because over there you're gonna be like one head taller than anyone. So next
He is one head taller than everyone.
next to your sugar daddy here.
Panic!
Oh, he's quick.
Oh,
Nice one.
Ooh, yeah. At the bottom of the Ivindo, not the actual bottom, but where it confluences with the Ogoye. It's a little structure here, a nice house, a couple people that live here. And we called Stefan on the sat phone. Sounds like he's a few hours away, so we're just chilling, relaxing. Hopefully he'll be here soon. We can load up, head back to Boyo, eat some food, have a beer, relax. It's been a sick trip. We're all getting pretty tired because now that it's like done, we're all like, boat's loaded. Now we've got to load up everything that's at the structure. Then we're on our way to Boyo. Au revoir, Ivindo! Au revoir! His WhatsApp started at 98 when we pulled in.
Oh boy.
We're at 158.
Oh, look.
So the pickup is empty.